My name is Leilani, and last week I showed you how we schooled our preschooler at home. And now this week I want to show you how I actually schooled all my other kids at home together, including Naomi, believe it or not. She got involved. And I'm going to share with you the curriculum that I used, and if I liked it or not, I'm going to give you an honest review because that's just what I'm going to do, because I need to. I am a former teacher and I do evaluate homeschool students in the state of Florida. So to be honest, I see hundreds of different curriculums as well as talk to hundreds of different parents every single year in regards to what they're doing and if it works for them or not. I steal a lot of their ideas and I can definitely see how it can work for one person and not the other person. So let me go ahead and get started and get you through all this curriculum pretty quickly so you can get some ideas for your schooling next year, whether it's really, we're gonna talk about preschool all the way up through 5th grade, all right? I feel like I'm gonna go backwards because I'm gonna start with science. All right, I did teach science in a homeschool co-op this year. I am a huge fan of anything by Answers in Genesis, especially with the early and late elementary kids. So this year, actually, let me start back a little bit. We started off with this book because I really wanted to do some kind of earth and space science. Just don't. It's not very thorough. It felt like it was just more of a survey and then questions at the end. The experiments weren't that exciting. I'll just leave it at that. But then I moved on and did Answers in Genesis, which I love this curriculum. We did God's design for the heavens and the earth. We went through all of them. I love it because you could do it with all your kids at the same time. If they're early elementary, they're just probably gonna wanna read through this one section and answer the questions. And then if they're upper elementary and even high school, they provide opportunities for that. High school will include the green. They give you those instructions at the front of the book. I do think they do have it, well they do, I know they do, have an updated version of this, so check it out. I'm sure it's just an updated version of this in the same kind of format. You can't go wrong with Answers in Genesis. I am an Apologia fan too. I have used them in the past, but this year we did not use them. Now for history, we did, for my kindergarten, 1st grade, we used master books. Now, there's a lot of people online that are die-hard master book fans. I am still not sure how I feel about this. It's kind of like a little Charlotte Mason traditional kind of feel, in my opinion. This is Galloping the Globe. I do talk about it in another video, but if I had to choose between these two, they're so different. I really can't decide. I would go towards this one because of the flexibility, but I know some people would go into this one because it does talk about community and it does get a little bit more in depth. And to be honest, for my kindergartner, it was a little bit more over her head. This is more like craftsy, maps, coloring, survey stuff. They're covering both the world. But I'm not yet 100% sold out on master books, to be honest. I'll let you know next year how I feel. For my older boys, I use Truth Quest History. I love this curriculum. I am not gonna ever change this, I don't think, unless there's something I wanna study that they don't have access to. So if you wanna see more about this, I'm gonna stick a link up at the top to my video I did about them. We spent 4 years on American history. I took my time, I didn't feel rushed, it was very flexible. It is a Charlotte Mason approach. It is a little bit more work. You have to gather the material and library books and such, and you do want to get the worksheets that go along with it, which is a binder book. I highly recommend it though. It's worth it and it's fun. For math this year, we did start off with Math Mammoth for both of my boys. Math Mammoth's a great curriculum, don't get me wrong, but it is best for the advanced and gifted students. Now, I'm not saying my kids aren't smart because they're very, very smart. It just was not working for them and they needed something a little different. So what I looked into for my older student who's in 4th grade was the Keys 2 curriculum. If you're not familiar with that curriculum, it's consumable. So it goes through decimals, percentages, fractions, all individualized. I do feel very strongly that when my son is done with that curriculum, he will be ready for pre-algebra. Now I did teach Title I for middle school math as well as tutor math students. So I really do think I am familiar with how to get that student prepared for algebra. And the Keys 2 program really, really does that. My son is a little bit younger, so I feel like we do have a head start. But even at that, I did work with a student where we got through the geometry portion within 2 months. Now for my second grader in math, we went ahead and transferred over to Master Books. I've heard so many good things about Master Books. The one thing I really like about Master Books is it's very, very independent. He is able to do these things on his own, and he's reading and doing it on his own, which comes in handy when I'm going to therapies. I can just have him grab the workbook. It's very transportable friendly, and he sits during therapy sessions and does his math, and I don't have to help him at all. However, we did get to a point with multiplication and learning those where he was struggling. And so I felt like I did not spend enough time going over those, and just, I needed something more for him. So that's why I went ahead and I got him some wrap-ups to practice on his own. This one is multiplication, they have addition and division, I have a bunch of them. And then I also, this series right here, okay, kids will hate this, but if you want them to learn how to memorize facts, this is how you do it. They will also teach you little tricks with your hands, counting your fingers, little rhymes and such to help you memorize math facts. They have for addition and subtraction as well as division and multiplication. These are 2 of them. We started delving into them. We didn't do the whole book. Don't do the whole book. You're gonna pull your hair out. Pick what you think is necessary, because they're math drills. This is addition. I'll just kind of show you. Of course, for my kindergartner, we're doing Making Math Meaningful. This is the 1st grade curriculum. She is doing really well with it. I think it's good for struggling learners as well as advanced learners. It teaches critical thinking, okay, with math, which you need. I'm gonna be honest, when my daughter Naomi, who is 3 years old, she does have Down syndrome, if you did not know that, I am going to use this curriculum probably. I mean, obviously, as she gets to that age, I'm gonna test it out, but this is gonna be what I try first. It does such a beautiful job just introducing slowly, but laying that foundation. I do a video on that as well too. I'll put a thing up here, a box up there. I'm gonna move on to language arts, which is a big chunk. Let's start with phonics. Now, I have always used the IEW, Institute for Excellence in Writing, their PAL and PAW for the writing as well. We're doing for her PAL, which is the primary arts language curriculum. This is not the book. This is not the book. This is the consumable part that we're using. I put it in a nice little folder, put it in laminate sheets so that she can draw her little symbols that she needs to draw on it when she's learning how to read. But this is what it looks like. You do 1 a day. You have little worksheets that go with it, and you have little books that go with it. And you also use it with the Phonics Farm. This is good. I like this. It worked really well for my boys. It's working good for her, but she needs a little bit more. That's why I have some extra stuff to give her. It's not that this program is lacking. It's not lacking at all. It's just with her, she needs a little bit more to just reinforce those things. But when she learns something, she learns it really, really well. This is just fun. It's here. It just reinforces stuff. That's all. Okay, this is the other book that I work on with my daughter. I know, it's like destroyed because I've used it with all my kids. The Ordinary Parent's Guide to Teaching Reading. This is what I've used with her, just right alongside the PAL. It goes through the words, it teaches you phonic rules. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. There's no writing involved. It's all oral. You can use this one as a standalone as well. With her, I'm not doing that, but definitely you can use this as a standalone, and I actually did with my son. I'm not a huge Abeka fan in general, but I do like their readers, so I just want to point that out that I am using their readers from Abeka. I got these used. You could probably find them used somewhere, but the readers are great. For spelling, I feel like I'm the only person that really uses this IEW program, Phonics Zoo. It's good. I'm gonna switch it up. I have this problem with spelling where I feel like I can never find the perfect spelling curriculum for my kids. Look, I used All About Spelling. This is a great curriculum. great for kids that are struggling learners. This is one I'm gonna try out with Naomi when she gets older. The only downside to this curriculum is that you have to be there and walk them through it. Sometimes it takes 15 minutes, sometimes it takes 30 minutes. If you don't have that time, this is gonna be a problem, and you might wanna look for something else, but this will teach your kids how to spell and give them the basic foundational rules, not only spelling, but with phonics as well. Now this is an extension, sort of. It's kind of in the same category. It's the Phonics Zoo from IEW. There is a CD that goes with this. We don't always use the CD, but basically there's a jingle that you say at the beginning, and then you read off the words. You do like 5, say it again, do 5 more, say it again, 5 more, in that pattern. So they're in a sense memorizing this jingle. It does in a sense repeat itself through the years. So this is actually almost a 3-year curriculum. So what I would do is I go through all the cards doing A. Once they master them, I start over and I go through B. They master those, I start over, go through C using the same jingle. So it is classical education. I'm gonna be honest, my kids are forgetting the simple spelling words. So I need to find spelling curriculum that I like for them. I do see a lot of curriculum out there, and one of them I'm going to try for next year is spelling workout. I saw it from somebody that I evaluated. I also saw Spell UC, and I was really impressed with that curriculum, except that it is quite pricey. They're connected with Math UC. I'm not a big Math UC fan, but the Spell UC, when I was looking through that stuff and all the work and what the parents said, I was kind of like, all right, this might be something I consider. But I'm gonna do spelling workout first because it's cheaper. That's a benefit about being an evaluator. I get to hear from all these parents, and it's pretty cool. So hopefully you're kind of gleaning a little bit from that, hopefully. For writing, I love IEW, okay? It's a different way of writing if you haven't explored IEW. I know in the public school, they really push for you to write those paragraphs, right? The 5-sentence paragraph with the topic sentence, 3 supporting sentences, then a paragraph, as well as the 5-paragraph paper. It's very, very dry and very, very structured in the public school. At least in Florida, IEW is not like that. And they're not going to try to force you into that 5 paragraphs in 3rd grade, as well as the 1 paragraph, 3. Okay, they don't fit you into that. What they do is they teach you they show you beautiful literature and teach you how to write beautifully. It's all about beauty. And I had some doubts because my son, who all my kids use this, okay? My son had an outside source actually ask him to write something for her, and she was not thrilled with the fact that he wasn't following the public school format. However, when I showed her the writing that he wrote from IEW, she was impressed with how beautiful the language was, his vocabulary and his different techniques with the prepositions and the who, which clauses and what they call dress-ups. With that being said, we got to find a way for him to translate that over somehow. We're working on that. That's something we're working on. So we're still doing this Bible histories for the young one, and literally almost done. I think he has one more lesson in all things fun and fascinating. If you do get this, I do use this book as well that gives you some really great adjectives and adverbs and nouns, and not nouns, but strong verbs, adjectives, and adverbs that can help you when you're writing Spanish boring words. Now, I went ahead and got master books because I always feel like I'm missing something. I don't know. And plus, everybody's like, master books, woo, it's so awesome. So I did. I got the language lessons for a living education for both kids, okay? I'm still not sold out on it. I will say it has been a huge blessing. So easy to transport, give it to them in the car while my daughter's inside doing therapy, which happens 6 times a week. That has been a blessing. They're learning something. It's not ideal for me. I felt like there were some still holes, I feel like I'm doubling up a lot since I'm doing, you know, spelling, and then I'm doing creative writing and this as well. I did have a vocabulary workbook. I gave up on that. We're doing vocabulary different this year. I'm not sold out yet on master books. It's like a 50-50 for me because I like the convenience, but I don't know if they're getting, especially with the grammar. I'm not thrilled with the grammar, and I'm honestly probably going to go back to Well-Trained Mind. I like the sentence diagramming, but I don't want it to be too overwhelming for them, so I'm just going to have to really balance it out somehow. When it comes to reading books, my kids are bookworms. They like to read on their own. They pick out their own book that they read. And then with, you know, history and science, there's a lot of books that are also assigned to them to read and discuss. Now, as a family, really the only thing that we did as a read aloud and a discussion was the Chronicles of Narnia, which has been probably the most amazing thing that we did during this whole self-isolation quarantine time. It was every single day we sit down and we read it together. We're at the end of the whole quarantine thing, hopefully, and we're on the last battle. So hopefully this is the last of the quarantine stuff. Naomi still comes, curls up in my lap and lets me read, and she listens in. So I think this is why Naomi has really, really gravitated towards books. She's always grabbing them and reading them, which I've talked about several times in my videos. I think that's really cool. And one of my goals for her is for her to really pursue reading. I want her to read. That's a really big deal. Another thing that we have used in our house is Simply Piano. It's an app. It's a curriculum I use. I am huge on music. If you follow me at all, you will know that music is a core curriculum for all my kids. Naomi somehow will do something with music, even if it's just dancing, which she does already. She will do something with music. We use Simply Piano. In the beginning, I was using Favor and Favor, their books, and I was sitting down with each of my kids for 30 minutes a day to teach them and go through piano. But then I got Simply Piano, which is an app. I don't have to do that anymore. My youngest son will sit at a piano for an hour and play piano and practice piano for an hour. And then my older son gets competitive with him, so then he'll sit down for an hour and do piano. My daughter is not yet ready for Simply Piano, so I'm still teaching her the notes on the staff, which still takes about 15 minutes a day with her, but she does practice on her own. She's very self-motivated when it comes to piano. My kids will probably explore other instruments. We haven't gotten to that point yet. One of them said guitar, the other one says drums, which are great. That's a great instrument, drums are. Don't get me wrong, but I want piano down first. I know, I'm sounding like a stickler here with music, because I am. I really do. I think it's important for Naomi, and I really think if she wants to learn an instrument and has the drive, she will. So hopefully this video was helpful for you. If you want to learn more about preschool, I did do a video of how I preschool Naomi. She does have special needs, which I've mentioned before. And as she grows older, my goal is to eventually start introducing you guys to the curriculum that I'm using for her, because we are homeschooling, if you didn't figure that out. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Check out some of my other videos around my face, and don't forget to click on subscribe if this was beneficial to you and you want to see more videos. Let me know in the comments, give us a big thumbs up, like, all that fun stuff, because it really supports our channel, and I'll see you in our next video.